Welcome to our playground.
Recess the podcast is an eclectic show of organic discussion, imagination, deep conversations, interviews, creativity, intuition, high vibrations, and fun.
Be informed, energized, inspired, and entertained with me, Jamie.
And me, Brian. Ready or not, here we come.
Because we all need to take a break. Brian, how's it going today?
I'm good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm lovely, thank you. And the audience can see, if you're watching the video, that we have a lovely guest today. My dear friend, Tisha Michelle, is with us. And so we're going to mix things up with her to do a little playing here in our playground, our proverbial playground. But before Tisha jumps in, I'd love to hear, Brian, anything that's just like fueling you today. What's getting you going?
Oh gosh. I don't know. Just doing all right. Feeling really grateful for just a lot of really cool people in my life. And just for example, like the coffee shop I take my laptop to here in near Clarkdale in Arizona. There's this great kid who just really nice guy, but he put a reserve sign on a table that I like to go to because sometimes it can get busy. So I get there and there's a reserve sign and it's like, oh man, you're the best. Thank you. So, just a lot of little things like that, just make me really, really grateful for all the
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. The little things that matter. So challenge the audience if you want to chat, give us some feedback. What is the little things that inspire you, make you smile? I have a client that I will remind her when I talk to her, like, do you have anything that made you smile today? Well, there was one thing. The joke, she has a nickname. I call her the Duchess of Darkness, but that's only because she defaults to the glass is half empty. And so we've been working on how do we make the glass more half full, kind of have that perspective. So it's like, just look for one thing. It doesn't have to be 10 things, one thing that makes you smile today, So,
well, it's funny, and we may talk about this later or not. It could be a fun subject sometime, but like one of my two main love languages, like when somebody does something for me. So like just little stuff like that, like,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Well, I would love to get Tisha in on the mix here with our discussion. And so let me just offer a little introduction, but I've known Tisha for several years and she's a beautiful healer and spiritual coach. And she's also a mother and she is a personality, TV personality, podcast personality, social media. I know her kids. She's just an amazing lady. So I'm glad you're with me, Tisha. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm well. It was interesting too. I'm just gonna share this. So when you said the TV personality, I lit up inside because that's what's happening right now, for me. And spirit is, and you already know this started, in 2018, and then it had its little bumps and it's circling back. And now I'm also remembering that this happened a really, really, really long time ago. So Brian, when you're talking about the little things, and to me, it's the memories when you wait a minute, this isn't new. This happened before. And then it goes to what you just said, Jamie, about what makes you smile. Then that makes you smile when you just oh my gosh, I remember this thing and then this and that. And I just feel that is just so huge. So you was making me smile inside when you said the TV person. I'm like, how's she know? But I'm like, oh yeah, psychic.
I love it. Well, and here's another little connection for Brian and Tisha. And that is, Tisha, you are on your way across country to Arizona in the next couple of days. And Brian, you're in Arizona. And Tisha and I are both Niner fans. I'm just pointing that one out.
Yeah,
and Brian also has been in TV and film. So there's another connection for the two of you.
Okay, Spirit, I see you. All right.
Are you just traveling to visit or are you traveling to move to the area?
I'm actually moving back. So I started that journey at the end of, I believe it was 2019. So I moved there. I left Virginia, moved to Arizona. But before I could really get my groove, COVID hit. So I didn't really get to experience it. And then but I was always traveling back and forth. And then I got into real estate in Virginia. So that back and forth ended up being 3 months in Virginia, 4 months in Virginia. The next thing you know, I'm this whole life here. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is not a part of the plan. That was somebody else's path. So I was like, no, I need to go where I thrive and where I feel better. And so yeah, so not vacation. I'm moving, but we're taking a train there because my mom
Well,
and my uncle is going to.
nice.
So they're really excited about like that. First, I was just like, I'm just trying to be there in a few hours. But then I turned it around and thought about the little things that end up being big things. I'm like, that's 3 days that I get a break. I'm on train, on the train. I think we only have to switch like one time, but it gives me a break to like disconnect. And then my plan is to just work on all things that's like creative, you know.
Love
That'd be
that. Love it. So what are you creating now? Well, you mentioned the TV, but you're somebody who and again, another thing that you and Brian have in common, you love to always create new things. I do too, but I mean, it's like nothing ever stops you. You're like, I got to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
I know. And sometimes I'll be questioning myself on that. I'm like, get it together. What you want to do? So definitely the TV show, like the idea around that, and then the blog, well, the newsletter, that I asked you to be a part of. So those are the two things right now. And it was interesting because right before this, I was like, let me just lay down because I was feeling uneasy, not about the podcast or anything. Actually, I don't really know why I was uneasy, but I was like, I need to shake this energy. It's a new moon. Like, come on, Tisha, like vibe out. So I put on like some music, I don't know, one of those frequencies, right? And I put on that and I laid there and I was like, all right, just taking my deep breaths. And then I literally heard spirit say, pitch your show. And I like get up and I said, to who? Who am I pitching it to? But then like I felt like, I felt some resistance. And then I was like, ooh, this is how I know I need to do this because why am I resisting it? The resistance was like, no, you need to do this on your own. You need to buy your own studio and you need to do all of this. And then I'm like, okay, no. That's the trauma. That's the trauma talking. And so I'm just gonna like keep, really just like creating, writing it out, and then things like this, like Brian's in film, like okay, you know what I
Has
mean?
been, yes, has been, yes. Yes. Yeah. Hey, yeah, we can chat. I have some folks. And
Well, and Brian, you have your podcast, Creative Spark, as well, that is all about the creativity and igniting that spark and fueling it. And you're a brilliant writer. You have some children's books and poems and short films and stuff like that he's done. Yeah, he's got some pretty cool stuff.
thank you.
See,
So
look at that. Because,
Thank you very
and the other
much.
the other thing that had like popped up around that when it was like pitch and I was kind of like not resisting anymore, I was like, okay, I have to talk to people who have done this before or are connected. And that was really interesting for me because typically I would just go to like whoever my friends and stuff, but I'm like, that's unproductive and I can't do the same thing that I've always been doing. I'm learning, Jamie. I'm learning. I'm like, I can't do the things that I've always been doing. And I'm hearing it really clear. And I think it's really just like about trusting, but it's also about the play. Like when you say like disconnect from the stuff and just be and all, and that's when the things like start to come in. And I see it more and more now where it's like, okay, even just like saying for like the podcast. And it's like, okay, even just being in the presence of someone who's written the children's books, who's, done the, plays, has the podcast that's around creative and stuff. That's like that good energy that, I feel like spirit leads you to when you allow yourself space to create or like you say, play.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's part of why Brian and I decided this podcast was necessary, because if nothing else, it gives us a chance to play. And anybody who's listening, it's a chance to maybe hear one thing. Doesn't have to be everything, one thing that inspires them, or one thing that kind of mixes up that moment that says, oh, wait a minute, something just dropped in. I'm inspired now, or I don't feel as bad as I did, whatever. So
Yeah.
what's inspiring you these days, Fish? The question I really want to know is, where do you draw your inspiration from?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't really know if I can really pinpoint it. Sometimes if I'm irritated by something. So if I get like irritated by something, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna disconnect. Let me just go do something, and I'll grab like my notebook and I'll just start writing. And then all of a sudden, it's like I don't even feel irritated. I've shifted into something else. I have another topic that I want to talk about for on the podcast, in that sense. But I would probably actually I do kind of know now. So lately, I'm handling the social media for the Mid Atlantic Black Farmers Caucus, which is a co-op that I'm a part of. That a year ago none of us knew each other, and I'm a part of like creating. So somehow I ended up with the social media. Who to know? Because I have a love-hate relationship with social media. But I guess because I'm doing this, it's not just for me; it's for other people and all. I've like really been like inspired to like really play around with Canva and just create. And I'm getting so fancy now. Like you can't tell me anything, like nothing. The graphics that I've been like creating and all this stuff. And I really think it's something that's always been there, just like with my writing, but I really didn't, I guess, have anything to really write about because like you said, we don't play. Everything is like business or mundane or this and it's that. So there's really no space for that. So there was no space for like the writing. But then when I started with the social media over there, it really started kicking up. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I will pitch my thing and I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to include this video of me speaking here and I'm going to do this. I'm going to create that. So I got like that spark. So I guess if I had to really pinpoint it now, it's because other people are looking to me for this social media. So now I'm like, I got to turn it like all the way up because of, I hate to really say that, but because of other people. I'll just be honest though. Other people that when we were at our conference, everybody was like, oh, you're behind the social media and all this stuff. So now I feel like I had to turn up and I'm posting videos and doing like all these things, but it's nice because it's like I'm getting back to that real true like creative like person that I am, and I want to see like these different things.
Cool.
Mm,
I love
awesome.
that. I love that.
And I know, well, sorry. I was
Yours.
just going to say, I mean, as both of you know, I mean, the more you start to do, the more the ideas come and the more the inspiration comes and the more the energy comes to support you. And it just, I don't know, you don't even have to necessarily know, speaking personally, where something's going to head. Just keep doing it. Just have fun, just create because it makes you feel good. And then that just amplifies everything else. And when I started my journey, Jamie knows, I kind of accidentally wrote my first book. And then I just left my family business. So I was pointed in a whole new direction. And I just kind of kept following the intuitive breadcrumbs. And they led me to overcoming a fear of speaking, which led me to taking an acting class with no plans on acting, which led to a dream about a short film that we did. And that pointed, doors kept opening because there was some inspiration and energy behind it. And so, yeah, it's rock and roll.
Yeah.
I love
Just let it unfold and try not to control too much. That's where I started running into problems. When I started having some success, I started trying to control things too much. And it lost the spark. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And I will say that for me, if I don't feel inspired, it's hard for me to do much of anything. Right. So very often when I get into those blah moments or those moments where nothing is flowing, whatever, my go-to is to move my body in some way, go to the gym, go for a walk, put on and have music as well, because music helps to shift some of the vibration in the body. So those are my go-tos. What are yours? Just curious. When you guys are lacking inspiration, where do you go?
I go walking. I have to walk. And that's for pretty much like everything. If I'm upset about something or confused, or I'm like, you know what, I need some inspiration because I want to like, write this out or whatever, create this thing. I'll go walking. I need to go outside. I'm like, I got to get outside. I'll freak out. I'm like, I got to get outside. I got to go. I got to go walking. And I'll go to one of the couple places that I walk. But music is a big thing. Music has always served as therapy for me since I can remember way back. And then moving like the body. So I'll put on a particular song and I'll just like try to dance it out because I'm like this energy is stuck somewhere and I need to get rid of it. So if it's too cold to go for me to go walking, then I'll just put on some music and just like literally just dance around just because I'm like, okay, get out. You gotta go, like go somewhere. Like I don't like this.
Cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian? Where do you find your inspiration?
Pretty much the same. Nature is my greatest, I don't know, just it does everything, it just that's where I get all my ideas from. That's where I, practice my TEDx talk. It just helped me let it sink in, so I nature, it just your body's moving, your brain's shutting down, your inspiration and intuition's able to come through stronger. Yeah, for sure. Or the gym, but I mean, the walks outside are the best.
One of the other things that I will do is I will leave my area. So I may not have to go far. I mean, I may just drive up to Tahoe, but I will leave town, so to speak. And that,
Yes.
so travel also inspires me, or it gets me out of that space because, I have Virginia City down the road. I have Tahoe. I have Carson City. I mean, there's some cool places. Obviously, Moon Rock is out here. So anyways, there's different places I can go that's within an hour or less that feels like I've left my area. And that helps me also find some inspiration.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so cool because I have a Virginia City here with Jerome. It's an old mining town from the 1880s, just like Virginia City is. And it's so fun. And there's so much history and crazy ghost stories. And I just got told another one the other day from a friend of mine. I'll have to share sometime.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I don't necessarily want to have an experience, but I mean, I believe everything. I mean, I've had a few weird things happen, but the ones my friend has shared with me were really interesting.
What about you, Tish? Do you believe in ghosts?
I feel like if I admit it, then they're gonna come bother me. No, I do, unfortunately, but I keep them at bay. I lay down the smackdown. Don't play with me. Don't do nothing while I'm home by myself, and don't come up in my face either. We had that conversation in 2018. Don't do it.
I wholeheartedly believe in it. I talk to them regularly, and I can tell you that I was disturbed. I realized years ago when people on the other side were showing up, I was like, I need some boundaries here.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning is not fun.
That's why I changed it. So and the biggest thing that I said was don't show me anything. Like I don't want to see anything that's remotely like human sense because I know you're not here type of thing. So it'll come through like the smell or the feeling. Like if I'm doing a reading with someone, it'll be like the feeling, or I'll say something like as simple as like blueberries and it'll just go. But because I laid down the law. I'm the boss. But that came from one time I was so afraid of all of this because it was new, 2018, like all this stuff awakening with me, and it was new. And I would just like sleep with all like the lights and stuff on in the house.
Smudge 3 times a night. I mean,
and then I remember a medium, she said to me, she was like, you do know that attracts them. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm now freaking out. Like she's like messing with me because I said I leave all the lights and stuff on. But in that moment, I was like, you know what? No, this is what we're not going to do. I'm here on earth and I'm human, in this sense. Lay down the laws and don't do that. And we've been good.
Go to the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been good. So.
And I know there's probably some audience members who don't believe in ghosts. But as a matter of fact, my partner says he doesn't believe in ghosts. Whatever. So it's always fun to have those but he does believe in aliens. I find that fascinating. You can't see alien, or at least haven't been revealed yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My coin phrase that most people dislike is I believe in everything and nothing. So just because I can't see it or just because I don't believe it doesn't mean it's not true for someone else.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you want to believe that Sasquatch is real, go for it. I don't, but okay.
I don't either, but I love. No, it makes me crack up. Like I have a keychain with just like it was given to me by my sister.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I have to tell you, I do. The reason I can believe in some of the stuff that I do, the unseen stuff, is because I get the physical confirmations either during, after, whatever. And after 25 years of paying attention to that stuff and it all confirming, validating, you just have to, I mean, for me, it's like, why wouldn't I believe it? So,
Yeah.
Oh, but for sure, even some things that, in our first connection and things that you said, I'm like looking around like this is spooky. Like, how is this happening? Like, I have to believe it because how do you know these things like about me? And or even if like my dad comes through, or at the time was, my best friend that passed that comes through, like you don't know me. And I'm not someone that tells all of my business. So you cannot go to social media and find personal things from me. So where else did you get I'm not gonna give another human like that much credit that you can get these things from me, from my body language or anything of that. I'm like, it has to be true. How else do you know that she's giving me this message? Like how? It was only me and her together when we had this conversation. Like how? So I'd be silly, even though before I didn't. That's a whole other story though. I didn't believe in any of it because I was afraid, even though my mom and my grandmother and everybody did. But now I have my own actual experience. I'm like, I'd be silly to say that I didn't.
Right. And I mean, if we believe we have angelic or spirit help, why wouldn't there be ghosts in addition to that, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, just a different way or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you can't see air. You can see the effects of the wind. You can see things blowing. You can feel the wind, but you can't physically see it. But there's other ways. There's other evidence, right? And to me, people on the other side, energy is energy. It's just going to show up in a different way. So you might feel it, you might see it, you might hear it. I mean, all those things, So
Yeah, I had something weird happen last night. My phone was charging, just sitting on this counter behind me, and I'm sitting over there, and all of a sudden this voice goes, uh-huh, like it was listening to it. It came from my phone though. So it's like, am I being like spied on? You know what I mean? Is somebody listening outside of I mean, that was weird. Didn't feel, I don't know, right?
yeah.
Never
Look,
happened before. And
there are
I didn't have any
multiple
apps open or anything. I mean, I don't know.
multiple stories. I can, confirmations where I can get a voice. Somebody will go, "Hey," and I'm like, "What do you need?" And there's nobody there.
But this came from my phone. So I don't know if it
Yeah,
was like a spiritual thing or if it was just like, there's
it
the
could have been
technology
Siri,
where people can like eavesdrop,
Oh, for
right?
sure. Look, I have no doubt that we're being spied upon, if you will, or eavesdrop the technology these days. Because I promise you this: we could talk about an orange Jeep. I want to get an orange Jeep, and I will have an ad for an orange Jeep on my phone in the
Oh, for
next
sure.
hour.
Absolutely.
Right.
Probably not even that long. You
Right.
probably could check now and it's probably there. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
that's what, if you want to do research on something, just play the game with them and just say it out loud, and then it all starts showing up in your feed. So you don't have to research it yourself. Like we be
Manifest
playing around
millions of dollars
Free
for us.
money, free money, free money.
and
In
let
my
it just
bank
show up.
account.
Free money.
Exactly. Exactly.
But and you know what? In all seriousness, in many ways, that's what it's like to have affirmations, and for manifesting. Very often, people are like, "I don't know how to manifest this." Well, it's not a fake it till you make it kind of thing in some ways, but you're training yourself to believe it and then see it, right? And so it's like, okay, I give great thanks for blah 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 blah, whatever. Eventually, now time is always relative, but eventually you will see it. It will come to fruition because whatever you focus on, wherever your attention goes, energy flows.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I have to
saying.
keep reminding myself of that. Let me make sure, because I already know I'm a powerful manifester. Because years ago I said I didn't want to be rich, I just wanted to be comfortable. And ding ding ding, I'm not rich. So powerful manifester. But it's interesting when you think of it really like that, like with the whole manifesting. I mean, we've created all these different things, and I'm like, wait a minute, it still is manifesting. I focused so much worry on that I brought it right to my door. But wait, I didn't want that. But that's where I was consumed like with this. So I'm like, wait a minute, I am a powerful manifester. I just need to do it the way for the life that I want to create, and not what I don't want, because I do very well bringing that to me. So I had to just train myself. Wait a minute, you're not faking it till you make it. You are a powerful manifester. You're just not manifesting what it is that you truly want. You've been manifesting the things you don't want.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's a problem. So we need to clean that up now, and let's go the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great reminder. So, and there's different techniques like EFT, emotional freedom technique, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And those techniques will say, like if somebody was saying, I don't want to smoke, I want to quit smoking, you don't say, okay, let's focus on quitting smoking. You say, I'm a non-smoker. What is it that you're trying to manifest, right? So, and I would invite you to rewrite that vow. In many ways, our words, as we know, create worlds. And we're constantly giving off vows, if you will, by saying something, I don't want to be rich, I just want to be comfortable. Maybe we do need to rewrite that, and what's the intention behind it, and that sort of thing. So
and for me, it was because my idea of rich people was they were terrible. They were just nasty, and they just weren't good people. And for my thought process was that it was the money. The money is what made them that. But now I know, after through years of experience and stuff, it's like, no, it just highlighted who they actually were already. And I don't have anything to worry about, because if, when that was me, I'm not going to be a nasty, because I'm not a nasty person now. But that was my belief. And that's why I was like, oh, I don't want to. Like, absolutely not. I just want to be comfortable, and got that in a bag.
Well, as they say, you want to see someone's character, give them power.
That part.
And money is power.
Yep.
I know for me that when I can pay my bills and have a little left over, that little leftover helps me feel powerful. And then what I do, I tend to give it away.
But that it's not a bad thing necessarily either, but like, it's just, choice is everything. And when we have money left over, we have choice. We have a little more freedom.
Yeah.
And because when you don't have the ability to do some of that stuff, it kind of feels powerless. You feel powerless.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, as they say, with freedom comes responsibility, your favorite word, Tish. And and again, what you're pointing to is freedom gives you choices. Responsibility is the ability to respond. What choice do I have? So, yeah,
that
cool.
Part.
Looks like we're wrapping up. It's time, but thanks for coming and playing in the sandbox with us, Tish. It was fun.
No, of course, this was fun. It went by too fast, though. What's that
all
about?
It always does.
I know. And safe travels. Good luck. I know things are going to be so great for you on your trip. And we'll put show notes in here where people can find you and stay in touch and keep track of you and all that good stuff. So thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. This was fun. Another great episode, and we'll connect another day.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thanks for joining Jamie and Brian on Recess, the podcast, the twice-weekly show of eclectic, inspired, and entertaining discussion. Be sure to subscribe as well as share with your friends and spread the good news. It's always appreciated. If you'd like to learn more about Jamie's intuitive coaching services and creative projects, please go to jamiedawn.com. And if you'd like to learn more about Brian and his creative spark world and books, please go to gbrianbenson.com.